From Australian county towns to schools in Ireland and cities across the United States, the Catholic Church has faced an avalanche of child abuse accusations in the last few decades. High-profile cases and harrowing testimony given to public inquiries have continued to keep the issue in the headlines. Although some accusations date—
Oh no. Oh shit, boys. Oh shit. This is a matinee. This is a double whammy. Oh, he's coming after the Catholic Church. Uh-oh. The final boss of pedophilia. This is gonna be, oh no.
Date back to the 1950s, molestation by priests was first given significant media attention in the 1980s in the US and Canada. In the 1990s, the issue began to grow as revelations began of historical abuse in Argentina, Australia, and Ireland. By the early 2000s, church sexual abuse was a major global story. Determined reporting exposed widespread atrocities and how pedophile priests were moved around by church leaders instead of being held accountable. It prompted people to come forward across the United States and from around the world. A church-commissioned report in 2004 said more than 4,000 Roman Catholic priests had faced sexual abuse allegations in the last 50 years, in cases involving more than 10,000 children. Few topics elicit more emotion and anger from society than the sexual crimes committed by members of the church. Although many blame the abuse scandals on homosexuality among the clergy, same-sex attraction does not make priests more likely to sexually abuse children, according to psychological studies. Most of the clerical abuse perpetrators are what's known as situational.
The best part about that is like, oh fuck, were we just doing like pedophilia and overlooking it and hiding it all the time? Well, let's just fucking toss in like, it's like a Ted Bundy last second Hail Mary, pun intended, where he's like, I'm gonna fucking die anyway, might as well blame it on porn. And it's like, they're like, you know, we got caught, but it's, they were gay. You know, that's why. That's the reason. It's like, yeah, just, when you're caught, just, you know, use that as an opportunity to mobilize against another fucking opponent that you have of the church, the gays. It's some real evil shit, dude. Real evil shit.
Generalists. This is a term used to describe an individual who turns to children as a sexual substitute due to their psychological and emotional difficulties in bonding with peers. They do not have a specific sexual preference for youth, but can't develop negotiated and intimate relationships with adults. Therefore, they seek readily available victims. Young boys have historically, though by no means exclusively, been a target for many clerical abusers. Priests, for the most part, have had access to boys much more so than girls, and this proximity has led to the erroneous correlation between homosexuality and clerical abuse. In the most recent of these cases, Cardinal George Pell was convicted of abusing two 13-year-old choir boys in 1996. He was Australia's highest-ranking Catholic and was previously the Vatican treasurer, meaning he was widely seen as the church's third most powerful official. A 9-minute segment of his interrogation was released by the West Melbourne Police Department and is now likely to be used in many forensic psychology classes due to the plethora of deceitful kinesics displayed by the suspect during the questioning procedure. The released footage begins at the moment the investigator is clarifying the events leading up to the first alleged assault on the two boys, which took place in—
Or he was like, this is the boss. He's literally the boss of pedophilia. Like, the higher ranked you are, the more you get away with it.
His cathedral's living quarters. It's important to note that the cardinal was only notified that he was being called in for questioning regarding a prior incident that happened after a Sunday Mass, and had no further information on what he was about to be confronted with, nor if he was being accused of anything serious. The lack of transparency is a calculated measure from police in order to stop a suspect from formulating a cover story beforehand.
So, as I said, they were poking around.
No, it's not the Nameless King. It's the Shameless King. I stole that from chat. Someone in the chat actually made that joke first, but...
Which is the term that was utilised.
Well, that's an unfortunate term, but where were they poking? What do you do when you're poking around?
I take it to be that they were looking as they were walking along.
Go on.
Now they've, at this stage, they've entered a room where where it's assumed the Archbishop got changed, and in your quarters within the cathedral. The room was towards the back of the cathedral, around the area where the choir sat. looking towards the back, to the right of the altar, under the western window behind it.
I'm sorry, I can't take him seriously with the fucking accent. Like, it was sorry good. I'm sorry to the Aussies. It's just like, are you fucking boys, mate? Tell me what the fuck you were doing. Are you being a nonce, mate?
Does that assist you with in terms of that map there?
That's vaguely right.
Yeah. Okay. They've walked in, and there was a wood panel door that's been described to a storage area within the room. Do your recollection, does the sacristy have any area such as that within it?
Well, for vestments and things.
I don't know what was ever held in there. Just
yeah, well, a lot of the vestments were kept there, the Archbishop's vestments.
Yes. Okay. Immediately on the left as you walk in to the room.
Now, we're in the Archbishop's sacristy or the priest's sacristy?
It could be assumed that the folding of the arms is connected with a guilty disposition, yet this type of defensive body posture is just as often correlated with truthful suspects when being questioned, especially
It's just self-comforting, right?
when confined in a pressured environment. The main observation at this stage of the interrogation would be the cardinal's elevated and imperious demeanor. He gives off a domineering propensity as if he's looking down on the detective. This would be due to the suspect's occupation. For the past several decades, he would have been idolized and venerated by his subordinates and advocates on a daily basis. This is most likely the first confrontational situation the cardinal has experienced for the better part of half a century.
Presumed from these gentlemen it was the Archbishop sacristy.
Yeah.
I set up wires.
And what was supposed to be in these cupboards?
They found some wine in there.
That's right. Well, that's not in the Archbishop's sacristy.
Okay. Yes.
There is a formidable safe, which is in the...
Hey, guys. Who's that guy? That's an unusual sight in JCS videos. Wait, oh, that's one of the detectives? I thought that was his attorney. Actually, I guess if it was his attorney, that he would literally be like, no, my client is not gonna fucking answer your questions, mate. It is his attorney? Oh. Why isn't he cutting in to be like, he's not gonna fucking talk, mate?
The priest's sacristy, where the wine was locked. When the sacristy was opened, it was always supervised by the sacristan or his assistant.
The cardinal firmly asserts that the area in question is always supervised. He wasn't asked, yet goes out of his way to make the statement, coordinated with a self-assured change in forward-leaning posture and intrepid eye contact. In his mind, he has already refuted the allegation, hence the confident body movement. The detective, however, will have noticed that the suspect just tried to refute an allegation before it was even stated. An innocent subject wouldn't have known what the accusation was, therefore wouldn't have known that the incident in question would be invalidated by another member of the church being present, and wouldn't have felt the need to bring it up with such conviction.
Okay, so there was a position for someone to supervise. Was there the sacristan?
The sacristan was always there.
I'll go on with what's been alleged. So they've found the wine and started to take a few swigs
This
back and
is
forth.
after Mass.
Yes, correct. Yes, after Mass on a Sunday morning. That's when the information you have, as you were discussing a second ago, he states that that's when Archbishop Pell came into the room.
No, that's not quite the... I never got the information that was after Mass.
No.
It was after choir practice that came through to me, I think. That's my recollection.
I think it is after choir.
After choir.
After choir.
That's
So it's,
at the table you provided.
sorry, yeah, it's after singing choir during,
Well,
after choir,
I
so
mean-
after Mass.
I mean, let me start to roll that. Most things on this story is counterfactual. And with a bit of luck, I'll be able to demonstrate.
Fucking counterfactual, mate. You're a crazy cunt, I'll tell you. You fucking cunt.
Straight point by point.
Certainly.
The first thing is that after every Mass, I would stay out at the front of the cathedral and talk to people.
These are further attempts at disproving the allegation before it's been stated. He's putting himself in a location away from the crime scene, backed up by what's known as convincing statements, in an attempt to improve the credibility of his declared alibi.
The next part of the allegation is that
Yeah, bro, you're already giving us an alibi. We're just wondering what's going on, you know? You don't even know the allegations.
you've planted yourself, and this is all what's been alleged, okay, I'm instead of saying alleged straight.
It sucks that the first time we're watching a fucking JCS video with a lawyer, and it's the worst lawyer in I was going to say in America, in Australia, in Australia. He's the fucking worst lawyer in Australia. Look at his fucking lawyer, dude. I'm going to fucking jail. You can't. Go to fucking jail, you can't.
Right off, this is all the story. Planted yourself in a spot between these two boys and the doorway in the sacristy room.
After Sunday Mass?
Yes. Yes. And in effect prevented them from leaving the room. Now,
The detective is about to reveal the first allegation against the cardinal. To restate the context of the situation, the two choir boys had wandered off into the back of the cathedral and had just been caught drinking the holy wine by the suspect.
the boys knew they were in a fair bit of trouble, and that at that time you've moved your robes to one side and exposed your penis.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What is this? Bro! Bro, stop, dude. Oh my god. I've never seen something like this before.
And
Wait.
had just been caught drinking the holy wine by the suspect.
The boys knew they were in a fair bit of trouble, and that at that time you've moved your robes to one side and exposed your penis.
Stop it.
Oh my god! Look at my fucking public defender. Mate, I'm going to fucking jail, dude. What is this face? I'm going to fucking jail, dude. Oh my god. He's literally laughing. Oh no, this guy is throwing, dude. I just realized he's just like, yeah, fuck this guy. He's literally like, yeah, fuck this piece of shit. I'm just gonna throw. I'm gonna throw on purpose.
You're still at this stage standing with your back to the door.
What a load of absolute and disgraceful rubbish. Completely false. Madness.
Notice how the suspect maintained momentary eye contact, but looked down each and every time he made a refuting statement. Looking down is often linked with either deception or submission, both of which were most likely being felt by the cardinal at this moment. A truthful subject will either maintain eye contact or avert their gaze to the side while keeping it on the same level or higher than the individual initiating the confrontation.
All sorts of people used to come to the sacristy to speak to the priest.
Yes.
The sacristans were around, the altar servers were around.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been on their way to...
I like that his response isn't that like, this is a preposterous thing that you're telling me, a person who has never done that, but instead, it would be impossible. The pomposity. It would be impossible. I mean, I've tried. I mean, I've never tried, but if I were to try it, it would not be within the line of sight of many people that are walking into the church. Like, oh my God, the lawyer is sending me, dude. This guy is just fucking, He's like, oh shit, he's fucking cunt did it. That's what the lawyer is doing. No, but seriously, he's not even, why is he British? I don't know, he just sounds a little British. But he literally is like, a normal person would react to be like, that is a fucking insane thing that you're saying to me, okay? They wouldn't turn around and be like, well, logistically speaking, it is absolutely very difficult to do such a thing. You know what I mean? Like, he's literally debating the likelihood of being able to do that, like how hard it is.
Change their investment.
Yes. It's been alleged that you've stepped forward, grabbed by the back of his head, and forced his head down onto your penis.
In the sacristy after Mass.
Yes. And
Completely false.
this has gone.
Sir, I would have you know that I am a Catholic priest, and therefore I am a gigantic homophobe. I mean, what you're suggesting is man-on-boy action. I would never do that.
On for a short period of time before let go of grabbed his head and done the same instance, forced his head down.
What the lawyer is doing here is the, oh shit, my client is going to jail, and I'm probably going to go to hell technique. Notice how the lawyer is not saying a single thing.
Down onto your penis.
Completely false.
The Cardinal was being interviewed by Detective Sergeant Christopher Reed, a 28-year veteran of the Victoria Crime Investigation Unit. He would have been perceptive to the suspect's clear mendacity, which is made evident by the following hard-headed statement.
You don't have to comment at this stage. I can continue on.
Please.
That's fine. The boys were terrified at this stage, and it's been described that holding head at this time with two hands on the back of his head before stopping, at which time he stood back in the middle of the room beside him. It's been alleged that you've then said, take off your pants, and you've stepped up to him, knelt down, started to fondle his penis and masturbate yourself at the same time.
This is in the sacristy at the cathedral after Sunday Mass.
Yes.
What need I say anymore? What?
Yes, you should be. As a matter of fact, you should not be saying it's logistically difficult to fuck kids in the church after Sunday Mass. What you should be saying is, holy shit, you're saying I fuck kids. That's crazy. Okay? You make it seem like you fuck kids on every other day of the week when you make that argument. Why is he trying to debate the guy? Oh my God, dude. Thank you, SMAX10, for the 10 gifted subs.
A load of garbage and falsehood and deranged falsehood. My Master of Ceremonies will be able to say that he was always with me after the ceremonies.
Yes.
Until we went back to the car park or back to the presbytery.
Car
The
park.
sacristan was around. The altar servers were around. People were coming and going. They couldn't.
Okay, this is nuts. I'm losing my mind. He like barely denies the direct accusation. Like, he denied it like once and he said absurd. And he didn't say like, no, I didn't fuck a boy. He didn't even say that directly. He just said like it's absurd to state that to state that he did this after Sunday Mass. That's it.
Couldn't have dallied too long in the sacristy because everybody, the choir master would have been keen to get away, to get them dressed and get away.
Okay. There is a further instance that's been alleged, and this is only on behalf of. Sometime after this, at least a month later, and again after church.
Now, you've got after choir.
Yes.
Does that mean after the
Guys, the kid's name is a hateful slur, okay? It's just don't worry about it. It's the Australian thing.
mass or after the choir practice? I took
No,
it after.
No, it's I gotta stop making jokes like this, okay? It's they're hiding the kid's identity because he's fucking underage, obviously. Yeah, that's why. Those of you who don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
After the choir practice.
This indication is after church is how it's described, which is after mass, after singing in the choir during mass. These allegations I can state to you were not.
Well, we're about after mass.
After mass, yes.
Well, that's so much.
We're not in relation to.
That's good for me because it makes it even more fantastic and impossible.
Yeah, neither of those were in relation to after choir practice.
Good.
Okay, he states at this stage that it's been alleged that he was walking along the corridor heading back to the choir changing rooms after mass, and still in his robes when he was suddenly pushed against the wall by someone. Saw that it was yourself, who pinned him to the wall with one hand and moved in close and used your other hand to grab his genitals over his clothes, squeezing hard. It was a brief attack that only lasted a couple of seconds.
Well, that's completely false, and as I'll be able to demonstrate, I was out the front of the cathedral there.
So he came in ready, dude. He came in ready. He's just like, before the accusations, before the allegations, he's like, I do declare I have all the defense in the world ready for you. I will demonstrate to you that my penis would never even be hard in a situation like this. And also, the top of the hour is here, and it's time for a 60-second ad break. It's preposterous that he would hide the ad break into the fucking priest's testimony. But I will tell you, there is a way to avoid. Maybe not these charges the priest is having to defend, but the way to defend against the ad breaks is by using an ad block or VPN or potentially subscribing with a $5 a month subscription or with a Twitch Prime, which is free. $3.99. Yes, I will be going to hell for my crimes at the top of every hour. Called a misdirection. An ad segue. Oh my god. Okay, at least I didn't say this. Okay, that's nasty. My man said he put the ropes on the one side and revealed his ad break. If I said that, that would be fucked up. Okay? Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not laughing at that, okay? I'm not laughing. That's a terrible joke that you made. Here's the ad break now.
I was always out at the front of the cathedral. I never came back with the kids.
It was later found out that the cardinal was indeed outside the front of his cathedral on the days in question. His time in that area ranged from 1 to 3 minutes according to multiple witness reports, after which he returned inside to where the infractions took place. Due to trial suppression orders, very little of what prevailed inside the courtroom has been released. There is no transcript of the trial, and a gag order has been enforced so none of the legal representatives are allowed to take interviews or release any further statements regarding the legal process that took place.
Why was there a gag order here?
All that is currently known is that a jury unanimously found George Pell guilty on 5 counts of sexual assault against children, which included the sexual penetration of a child under the age of 16.
There is evidence that on the day of the first episode...
Oh, stop it. Dude, what the fuck is wrong with Australia and Canada? Stop it. Stop. You have to stop this. This is unacceptable, dude. The Commonwealth has some of the most psychotic drip when it comes to their justice system, dude. This is worse than what the priest... Okay, no. What the fuck? No. I shouldn't have read that. Jesus Christ. Fucking asshole. Listen, you wrote that in a chat where there are leftists, okay? Which means, like, humor in the form of exaggeration is unacceptable. Anyways, keep going.
Had successfully delivered Sunday solemn mass as Archbishop, this being a public role requiring discipline and focus. Third, in relation to the first episode, you offended over a period of minutes where there was ample opportunity for you to both reflect and to stop. On the evidence of Jay, you told the boys they were in trouble. Jay says you all just froze. You then started moving underneath your robes. You then exposed your penis. There was thus time for reflection even at the beginning of this offending. What then occurred was sustained offending. Your sexual abuse involved multiple different activities and actions. You moved from one victim to the other. Your dialogue with the two victims during the first episode was both purposeful and responsive. You continued to offend with callous indifference to the victim's obvious distress and objections. At some point during the episode, you even told your victims to be quiet because they were crying. Fourth, what you did was so egregious that it is fanciful to suggest that you may not have fully appreciated this. Your graphic sexual misconduct was not of a kind where you may have misjudged its gravity. Fifth, the fact that you offended twice against Jay further undermines the explanation that your offending was but an irrational, unthinking moment of lunacy. As to what drove you to offend in such a risky and brazen manner, I infer that for whatever reason, you were in fact prepared to take on such risks. I conclude that your decision to offend was a reasoned, albeit perverted one, and I reach that conclusion to the criminal standard. To accept the argument of your counsel would mean that every offender who commits an offence which is brazen, out of character and spontaneous must be considered to have some form of mental impairment or some lapse in a capacity to reason or to think rationally. There is no basis in law or in principle for this proposition, and I reject it.
He was rendered a 6-year sentence with a non-parole period of 3 years and 8 months. He is currently the most senior Vatican official to be convicted of sex abuse to date.
Yeah, so, first of all, 6 years for serial rape of children. Kind of weird, Australia. What the fuck? But wait, there's more! Now, at the time of this video being shot, I guess the case was fresh. Or rather, JCS did not know that after serving a 1-year length of his prison sentence, George Pell, His Eminence, was acquitted. Yep. And in 2020, in the middle of COVID, the Australian government allowed George Pell to fly out to the Vatican to meet the fucking Pope, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It pays to have friends in high places. Remember, boys, I tell you all the fucking time, yo, there's still 19 minutes. No, he's moving on to a different case after this. This is the end of the case. This is these are some of the, these are like different police interrogations. And he successfully sued over the the sexual abuse verdict. Victoria Supreme Court fined the Age $450,000 and News Corp more than $400,000 for contempt of court over coverage of Cardinal's initial conviction. How do you fucking like that, huh? How do you fucking like that? In Australia, if a dingo doesn't take your fucking baby, you'll have a cunt. You'll have a fucking cunt priest. All of a sudden, in the Commonwealth Olympics, Canada doesn't seem so bad. Melbourne newspaper The Age was handed the biggest penalty of $450,000, followed by News Corp outlet news.com.au, which must pay $400,000. Other 9 newspapers, including Sydney Morning Herald and the Australian Financial Review, were fined $162,000, while the Today Show was fined $30,000. The media, Dixon found, took it upon themselves to decide where the balance ought to lie between Pell's right to a fair trial and the public's right to know. Dixon rejected the media company's submission that the breaches of the suppression order was due to an honest but mistaken belief that their reporting would not contravene the order. They're called dollar dues. It's funny you don't remember QAnon saying a thing about this. Oh, that's wild, dude. Maybe because QAnon doesn't give a fuck about the Catholic Church, you know? Dude, conservatives all around the world are just the biggest scumbags, as we've already established. And your country sucks depending on how much you allow conservatives to run it. That's it. That's what the reality is. Part of the reason why America is one of the worst. By the way, the current pope is supposed to be like a lefty pope and an anti-pedophilia pope. He was acquitted by the High Court because there was a significant possibility that an innocent person has been convicted because the evidence did not establish guilt. Yeah, there's a lib pope out there. Supposed to be a communist. He was found guilty of sexual abuse charges in December 2018, although that verdict was ultimately overturned by a high court in April last year. At the time, it could not be reported on because the high-ranking Catholic official faced a second trial over a different set of allegations. The cardinal was still awaiting the second trial, which did not proceed after those charges were dropped in February 2019, when the companies published the broadcast reports that did not name him, but referred to the verdict. The suppression order was lifted once the second trial was aborted. In his full judgment, Dixon took aim at the age of the publication of I don't care about that. I want to know why he got off, and I cannot find it. Currently, we're run by a piece of shit government, conservative government with a fuck knuckle that pisses off every time the country's in fucking trouble. Combined with Rupert Murdoch owning all of our media. Go figure this happened. Yeah, he is. Pope Francis is like, he's got a hammer and sickle and shit. What is this? Gilshahan and Lutton? Latin? The tension between the complaint and opportunity evidence. The complaint allegedly the first two incidents occurred in the pre-sacristy, the robing room connected to the cathedral, immediately after Sunday Mass in late 1996. So wait, from an evidentiary perspective, though, the difficulty with this allegation was the opportunity evidence given by witnesses. Placed Pell at the front steps of the cathedral at the time the incident occurred. Placed Pell in the company of the cathedral's master ceremonies. Oh, so his counter was, his alibi was solid. It is important to observe at the outset that it is not unusual for judges on appeal to make different findings and reach different conclusions. The High Court identified several errors made by the Victorian Court of Appeal majority in its decision to dismiss Cardinal Pell's appeal and uphold the conviction. Viewing recorded evidence and making demeanor-based judgments